Hi, everyone. My name is McDonald, and I'm here on behalf of Beats for Babies to invite you to the Imaculata Women's Conference happening March 7th here at Holy Cross. The link will be in the bio or below, depending where you see this video, for more information and to purchase tickets. Father John Lankett, Anita Romero, and Sister Bethany Madonna. Such a powerful spiritual lineup. I can't wait to see you all there.
Christ here. These guys could be my sons. I got Calvin McDonald, Paul Hawkins. These young men, I love their zeal, their apostolic zeal. We're going to be talking about some projects that they got in the near future. I just want to mention today's St. Valentine's Day. According to legend, the Valentine takes its name from a young Christian priest, a young Catholic Christian priest, who lived in ancient Rome. But like so many of the early Christians, Father Valentine had been in prison because of his Catholic faith. Often and longingly, he thought of his loved ones and wanted to assure them of his well-being and of his love for them. He was taken to jail for promoting the true, authentic teachings on marriage. And so in his jail cell, beyond his cell window, just within reach, grew a cluster of violets. He picked some of the heart-shaped leaves and pricked them with the words, "Remember your Valentine," and sent them off by a friendly dove that would come and fly and perch on his prison cell window. On the next day and the next, he sent more messages that simply said, "I love you." Thus did Father Valentine from prison have its beginning, or Valentine's Day. And so it has been through the ages, those who love remember and send Valentines to express their love. So yes, Father Valentine was a Catholic priest. He was martyred in Rome in the 3rd century, right around 270 AD. And as a priest, he had married young Christian couples, and that's why he was sent to prison, because as a result of speaking the truth about marriage and family life, this is what got him in trouble with the Roman emperor, because back then they were doing the same thing that they're doing now. They had their Epsteins, they had their Sean P. Diddy Combs, they had their Weinsteins. They had the same thing going on back in pagan Rome, pagan Greece, pagan Egypt, pagan Babylon, like we have today. Father Valentine, pray for us. All right, got that out of the way. Amen. All right, guys, I'm looking here at an event that I'm going to be there. I have to be there. It's a women's conference, and let me give the event details here. It's going to be March 7th. It's going to be at Holy Cross Catholic Church, 1244 South Powell Road, Mesa. And I love what you guys called this women's conference, the name that you guys gave it. Why did you guys pick that name for the women's conference?
That name actually came from my wife, who our wives are kind of behind the scenes on this one. We hosted the men's conference last year, and our whole thing is trying to incorporate the family, the men first, women second, family kind of go in order. And the namesake came from an inspiration from her after reading up on Maximilian Kolbe and his reference to the Immaculata. And that's where she kind of got the inspiration for the name when we titled it. So
for people to register, It says beatsforbabies.org/Imaculata. That's where people can register, correct?
Correct. They can go on there and get the tickets. They can give us their info, and they'll also be updated with other events that we host later on.
So, I'm looking at it here. Saturday, March 7th at Holy Cross Catholic Church in Mesa. All the information is at beatsforbabies.org. You got the schedule. It's already posted there. You got the speakers. And I'm glad to tell you that, without a doubt, I think that the best Catholic priest speaker in Maricopa County in the Diocese of Phoenix is Father John Lankett. And that's good that you're going to have him there. Father John Lankett, that guy is he speaks prophetically. And so it's good that the women are going to hear him. Also, I want to give you guys a surprise. I think the most common phone call that I get in my office, me and my wife in our little apostolate, people are always calling up, especially ladies, and they're always saying, "Help, Jess, I need help. My husband's unconverted." And so for years, me and my wife have been putting kind of a protocol together to help ladies so we could just give it to them. Because a lot of women that have had a conversion and they're seeing that their husband is just kind of a slug hanging out on the couch drinking beer, watching UFC reruns, right. And they're saying, "What do I do?" So that's what my wife's going to talk about. The title of her talk is going to be called "Help, My Husband's Unconverted." And again, it's going to be a protocol for women to follow so that they can bring their husband back to the church and into a vibrant relationship with Jesus Christ. And tell us a little bit about Sister Bethany Madonna. I've probably met her, but I don't know who she is.
Yeah, she's one of the Sisters of Life here in Phoenix, okay. And she's done. She does do some public speaking events. She's done a few here. She was actually at the Aid to Women Gala. My wife got a chance to meet her. Both of our wives got a chance to meet her face to face at the Aid to Women Gala last year.
Right. She filled in for Father Mike Schmitz when his I think one of his parents had passed away. He was supposed to be speaking here in Phoenix, and she came in and knocked everybody out of the water.
She was a real powerful voice. She is a real powerful voice for the pro-life movement, for the counter to the culture of death, and she's just very outspoken, and it was very important for our wives to get her. They were really excited when they got the green light that she was going to be there. So
yeah.
Well, you know what? Any nun that you pick from that order is a home run, because that order is a very solid order of Catholic nuns. You're not going to be getting recycled New Age feminist gobbledygook. You're going to be getting authentic Catholicism from women like that, from nuns just like that. Anything else you guys want to share about the conference? How about a nice hearty invite to anybody who may listen to this podcast?
Yeah, anyone. I mean, it's Valentine's Day, men. If you're watching this, go buy a ticket for your wives, your daughters, your sisters. Make a nice gift. Women, if you're interested, it's a very powerful lineup that we got coming. So
I don't think we've harped enough on Anita Romero. This is going to be her debut talk, and apparently she's got something pretty good for you ladies to listen to. Obviously, if you don't know, Anita Romero is Jesse's wife, so we're super excited about that too. I think our whole lineup is it's going to be a great day. Us guys that do show up are basically just going to be in the background helping out. We're not going to be
help move boxes around, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll be helping
doing
you
guy things.
Yep, guy things, absolutely.
And I will throw this out there for those of you that are watching. My wife is working very hard right now to make sure that she solidifies childcare for women who would normally not be able to make a conference like this because of childcare issues. We're really trying hard to solidify that. They're at the parish, working with their catechist department, working on some ticket-based that the tickets will go and assist the catechist department, any proceeds coming from those. So we're working hard, and if you go and you sign up on our contact us page, there's going to be a section or on the Immaculata, the ticketing page, so the beatsforbabies.org/Immaculata. There's a section there that if you're interested in childcare, go fill that out, because we're trying to collect those names now. So as soon as we get the yes, it's confirmed, we can send out notifications to those women who might be waiting on that. So.
All right.
Well, you guys, for being a two-man show, Beats for Babies, you guys are pretty busy. What else do you guys have planned for 2026 and beyond? Anything else? I know you guys just had a men's conference a while back ago.
Yeah.
We had the men's conference. We're hopefully gonna host the men's conference again, second annual Living in Breach. We're working on getting that kind of finalized and getting some things sorted out so that we have an opportunity to do that.
Right.
We also have in our sights a family festival. We think it's very important to kind of host something that brings a bunch of Catholic families together, low cost, so that it's not like going to the county fair and spending $40 on a hot dog, but you can have a day of, fun out with the family. I think a long-term horizon, what we're really looking to do is create a counter to the secular culture, maybe even a parallel to it. So anytime that there's, you're a young Catholic family, you want to get out, you want to do something, we want to have something for you to go do within the community and build that, like I said, a parallel culture to the secular one.
Right.
So there's something always happening. And we're in brainstorming process on making sure that we can be consistent on some of that too.
Right.
And this would include things like devotional events too, like the march, the 14-mile march that we did with the Rosary, or we've got plans on doing a 24-hour overnight Rosary. Those ones are all devotional, obviously unpaid. It would just be to bring Catholics together in a sense of public prayer. And we're trying to build that community, build that network so we can get this culture solidified. So.
And when we first did the men's conference, we wanted to get men, like you were talking about earlier, get those slugs, off the couch and, try something new. And I know for a fact that a lot of the guys that were there, their wives encouraged them to go. And it seemed to go really well. We had Bishop Olmsted. The line for confession for him was literally out the door and down,
that was the first
around
one.
the campus. Say what?
I was the first one in line to Bishop, for confession.
Yeah. So, we were super blessed for him to stop by and give us his time. But the whole idea behind that was really to get men to understand where they're supposed to be in the household, and to take leadership, because, as you know, the family that prays together stays together. And the only way that works is if the leader of the home, the man, the priest of the home, kind of walks that forward instead of sitting in the background, scratching himself watching football. Not that there's anything wrong with watching football or anything like that, but you have to have your priorities in line. So yeah, we're working on a lot of these different ideas, a lot of the things. We want to do another. That event was specifically called Living in the Breach, which was kind of derived from Bishop Olmsted's. Why can't I think of the name?
Step into the breach.
The Step into the Breach. Or, yeah. So we kind of stole from that. But yeah, so we're trying to put another one together, maybe get a couple new speakers there. We have different events that are going on, or that we're looking at, where we're trying to get men, women, do date nights, different stuff. None of that is really on the schedule yet because we're still working it out. But there's a lot of stuff that we're trying to get our community, Catholic families together, where men can meet other men, build that fraternity, encourage them to do things like Porters of St. Joseph, trying to really kind of branch out and pull that community together so that people have an opportunity to meet other people. I think it's really important. This whole Beach for Babies thing started as just kind of we're going to go give, I don't want to say middle finger, but I just did. So, but kind of the middle finger
but
to
you already said it.
Yeah, it's out of the bag. But to the whole
culture of death,
abortion industry,
yes.
The culture of death, and what better way and what a better contrast to have our weapon, our rosary.
Amen.
As a battle against abortion, and we literally took it to the streets with our 50-foot
red rosary.
50-foot rosary. So yeah, we're really trying to embody that. I mean, it started there, and then it's branching out into being able to. Say what?
Counterculture.
Yeah, counterculture. But we want people to be able to go to a place where they can meet other Catholics, or they can go to, maybe we're looking at getting a whole bunch of Catholic vendors together, so people can come to our website or to our events and know that everybody they're dealing with is going to be Catholic. So yeah, there's a ton in the works. There's a lot of stuff that we're trying to accomplish because we want those things for us.
I got to connect you guys with Cono Vertuccio, the owner of Vertuccio Farmers. Maybe you guys can host something annually over there. He's a good Catholic man, and he has a great facility to host things for families. So that should be something on your radar.
Yeah, we were at the Catholic comedy event this last weekend. We had our booth set up, and we talked to a lot of the vendors there.
So you guys
we saw you there doing the
We
rosary.
We also are, anybody, for another little shameless plug, anybody that might be local here, we will be at the March for Life that's just coming up on February 28th. We were actually fortunate enough to be able to be one of the sponsors for that event. So we're going to have our booth set up there as well. That's at the state capitol, so March for Life, Arizona.
That's awesome. Kelvin, I got a quick question for you before we wrap it up, then one for Paul.
Sure.
How did you find your way back to the Catholic Church? Were you born and raised Catholic? Are you a cradle Catholic? Or what events or series of events happened to you that caused you to come back to Mass, back to the arms of God, and back to the Catholic faith? Or were you always a fervent Catholic man?
That is a good question that I don't have enough time to expand upon on this entire thing. But I was a cradle Catholic. I was born and raised, went to Catholic school from preschool all the way up to 12th grade. Met my wife in high school. We had children, got married in the Catholic Church, sent him to private Catholic school for a few years, and then drifted away from the faith. Not in a rebellious sort. It wasn't like I was disenfranchised with the Catholic faith. I just, I had to work on Sundays, and I was tired on Saturdays, and I just fell into the secular culture, kind of ignored my faith, very much so. And there was, I guess, a couple years ago at this point now, there was kind of a profound moment in my life where I found myself in an adoration chapel praying to Mary for a miracle. Essentially, that miracle happened, and I locked in dead into the Catholic faith. After kind of experiencing that miracle, the first real Mass I went to, because we were even playing, me and my wife, how do we return? Our kids are older. We've been away for 6-7 years, whatever it is. Maybe me and you will just go to Mass on Wednesday nights. Let's go check out a couple of churches. We were recognizing that we needed to go to church, but yeah, we even didn't have that right. We were like, well, we'll go on like Wednesday night at this parish or whatever. But the first official, like kind of real Mass went to was Ash Wednesday, and it was Father Lankett doing the homily. I remember hearing his homily, and from that point on, because we were playing this game of going on Tuesdays, not taking the kids because we don't want to deal with them being fussy in Mass or whatever. Right after that Mass and Father Lankett's homily, I turned to her in the car and I said, we're all going to be here on Sunday. All the kids, we'll figure it out. And that's kind of what locked us in. So
yeah, Father Lankett is a beast.
Yeah, I've never heard a priest talk about.
He has that effect on people.
Yeah, absolutely.
He speaks prophetically.
He does. Well, he's and I never heard a homily like that. I remember standing room only on Ash Wednesday that day, and I remember thinking I've never heard a priest speak like this before, and I was hooked. I was hooked back into faith, and then
here you are, and you never looked back.
Yep. Here I am.
What about you, Mr. Paul? What happened to you? Were you born and raised Catholic?
I wish I could say I was. I was born Protestant, I guess. Not
what
me.
Denomination?
It was my parents doing, I suppose. But at least I was in a church. We were Episcopalian, actually.
Okay.
Before it went to cuckoo. And then it started kind of going cuckoo when we were going there. My mom said, this is weird. At the time, I started going to a Catholic school, but I didn't care. I didn't care about that stuff. I knew God is real, but I didn't really care about my faith all that much, or the lack of faith I had. And then I was raised Catholic. We went to my parents took us to the Catholic Church, and we all joined in the early 90s. So when I was 12, 13 or whatever it was. And then I just kind of was one of those guys who would show up when mom and dad made me, which was every Sunday until I moved out of the house. Then it was never. And then I got married, and then we would go back and forth to church once in a while. My wife and I decided, we'll just look at all these different churches, and we kept coming back to the Catholic Church. And so my faith started growing a little bit. I started listening to people like Patrick Madrid. I started listening to, Catholic Answers, and then Jesse Romero. And so then I started understanding what the Catholic faith was, that it was the true church. And so we started going to church on a regular basis. We moved to Arizona, and that's when things really did a 180. We started going every Sunday, started going to confession once a month, started really diving into our faith. Everything turned when we got here. I mean, we'd lived, my wife went through breast cancer, and we had all these hard struggles, and Jesus kept being the one thing that would kind of bring us back to where we needed to be. So yeah, and then I discovered a prayer group with my buddy Jesse here, and then started doing, the more I got involved with the church, the more I started getting deeper into my faith and my understanding of the faith. I've always been slow, so it takes me a while, I suppose. And then Calvin and I started, I was listening to a lot of our fellow Knights of Columbus talk about abortion and stuff, and I was kind of frustrated with the lack of showing, and so I wanted to do something. And then Calvin was like, hey, we're going to do this thing, we're calling it Beads for Babies, and it's kind of, that part is just kind of taken off from there, but all of it is growing at the same time. So I think most Catholics, they get to that point, or Christians in general, but we get to that point where we realize that you can't just call yourself a Christian and not continue to grow, not continue
Amen.
to try to learn, not continue to pray. And, you go to confession, it started off, once every 3 months, then it was once a month. Then, a lot of times it's once every 2 weeks, once a week. Sometimes, unfortunately, you get to that point where you realize these things aren't right. I need to make this right in my life. And I don't know, I pray that a lot of the people I know and love, I'm not saying get to where I'm at, but I mean, like, get to that point where they're diving deeper into their faith. So anyway, I don't know if that's the answer you're looking for, but
yes, and it certainly is. I love it. Oh, well, that's a wrap. I just want to mention the Imaculata Women's Conference. You can go to beadsforbabies.org/Immaculata. And that is going to be March 7th, which is on a Saturday. It's not it's a few weeks away. It's going to be at the Holy Cross Catholic Church in Mesa, Arizona. It's going to be packed with great speakers. I know Sister Bethany. Now I remember where I met her. Anybody who goes there is going to walk out of there completely blessed with the Catholic gospel. And you guys are doing good work. Keep it up, guys. Anything else you want to leave with the audience before we sign out?
One more thing. Even if you are a woman out there and you can't make it to the conference, or you're a guy out there and you aren't going to go to the conference, go to our Contact Us page and sign up as one of our subscribers, because you'll get added to a mailing list so that when we do have future events,
Right.
devotional conferences, anything like that, we're going to send all that information out to the people who are subscribed through the website first. So even if you can't make it, go sign up so that we get your info.
We also have
Awesome.
merch and stuff like that on there, and we do our own podcast. This is kind of the background of our podcast here.
I love it.
It's on the Beads for Babies YouTube channel under Sword and Staff. So if you're interested in watching us babble about, our last episode was literally on the most obvious or
Demonic toys.
Yeah. So we did a very
Great topic.
chaotic list.
Very
Yeah.
practical for Catholic men, fathers.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's a wrap. Thanks a lot for coming on. This is the Jesse Romero Show. I've been here with Calvin McDonald and my brother Paul here. Thank you very much, and support their good work. These are young adults that have this apostolic zeal, and I'm so glad that they're here in the Diocese of Phoenix. We need more young men like them. God bless you guys. Keep the faith, and have a blessed, happy, holy Valentine's Day. See you next time.
Thanks, Jesse.
God bless, Jesse.
Hey, family, my name is Jesse Romero. This is my favorite book that I've written out of about a dozen that I've written so far, Lord, Prepare My Hands for Battle 2.0. You can pick up this book on my website, jesseromero.com. I'll tell you the meat of this book. It's on page 34, How to Live in a State of Sanctifying Grace. I basically give you, right from the Bible and the Catechism, 12 ways to make sure you're tracking towards heaven. If you want to get to heaven, this is the book you need to get, page 34. It tells you exactly the stairway to heaven. God bless you. Keep the faith. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date with my latest content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop us a comment or question. For more resources and to connect with us, visit jesseromero.com. Until next time, God bless you and keep the faith.